But at the same time, is it going to be the particular image, and is it going to be the stories that are going to be told? I don't know, because that the proper stories to be told will truly be up to those people who are sincere in their deen, and who are
Yeah.
sincere in telling the stories, that one type of stories that people want to hear, but also telling the stories that are positive in the image of Muslims
Yeah.
and Islam in an accurate and sincere way.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do that? Well, look at like this. BET, yes, it's a niche channel, all
Mhm.
right, but it is still owned by a larger subsidiary.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the six major entertainment companies currently? Okay, we got News Corp, which owns Fox and all these other places.
Viacom.
We got Viacom. We got Disney.
Mhm.
We've got um, what else? Is Virgin part of Viacom?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think it's independent.
Okay. So we got. I mean, there's six major conglomerates.
Yeah.
Okay. So even if you see a niche, understand that that niche is partially owned by one of these major conglomerates. Okay. Now, if you want to get into mainstream, the whole idea is to understand the system, the way it's played.
Yeah.
Okay, and get into it and try and do your best to one, because all the system cares about is becoming profitable for its owners.
Yeah.
So your whole objective as somebody who wants to influence the people and lay out these stories in a way that's accurate is, one, to understand the system, two is to develop things that would be profitable within these systems, and three is approaching these systems with a sincere hope and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you
Yeah.
can make a difference.
Yeah.
So I mean, you work for every Muslim here works. Okay,
Yeah.
you work for one company or another. At the end of the day, you're there to make a living, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you're there to make that system, that company profitable. Okay, why not? Might as well enter into a field that would help the businesses that are in the business of influencing people, but at the same time, you're making an effort to add that Muslim image that's proper.
Okay. Now here's the question. Now, what's the game plan of getting Muslims? Not just okay. Now, the steps of getting to the mainstream is easy to lay out. Do this, do that, do this, do that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the consumer, it's the public, it's the audience that is going to make you or break you. Yes, you could have a perfect strategy. You could study, you could do research, you could do all you want to do, but it doesn't mean that you will become successful, because at the end of the day, the consumer, the public, the audience is going to
Well,
make you or break you. In terms of entertainment wise, I'll give you an example. Now, I talk to non-Muslims all the time, and they still see Islam as an ethnic thing. If they want to become Muslim, they believe that they really have to wear quote unquote Pakistani and Arab clothes. They gotta smell like curry and cook all this Indian, Arab, and Pakistani food and all this stuff. They have a foreign ethnic view of Islam, even though Islam is for all of mankind, and it's not. It doesn't really care if you're black, white, you're Latino, you're Asian, you're Middle Eastern, whatever. But they still see Islam as ethnic, as opposed to universal. Now, how do we get that misconception of Islam as being mainly in the Middle East and South Asia and make it to something universal via the use of entertainment to dispel myths, to educate at the same time for us as Muslim filmmakers or Muslims in entertainment to make money from that in a
Well, I mean,
profitable
the whole
way.
thing is, how do you get people to view it? It's got to go back. It goes back down to fundamentals. I mean, you want a story. First of all, you gotta put stories out there that people can relate to.
True.
All right, and that would usually what the first thing that people relate to in any sort of story movie is the individual character.
Correct.
Okay, now the characters is somebody that people can have some sort of connection with, where the characteristics of that character are things that the individuals and the audience themselves may have. Then people will be able to relate to it, and they will feel for it, and they will feel like, you know what, it's not universal, it's not ethnic.
Yeah.
But in order for that to happen, in order for that to get in there, it goes back to originally what I stated before,
Yeah.
is understanding the system, understanding what is in the market, what is it that people want generally, okay? What kind of stories? And I'll just lay this out right now. Number one genre, and I'm just talking the movies, like theatrical type movies. Number one genre in the world is action,
Yeah.
okay? Put a loose story around a whole ton of action, people will watch it. Okay,
Yeah.
it's profitable,
Yeah.
and you lay out an effective development, production, and distribution plan for it, and you have some sort of reputation backing you, then people will throw money at you. All right. The second genre that's extremely popular is horror slash thriller.
Yeah.
Okay, again, around the world, you take a horror, thriller, suspense type of thing, put it around a story as loosely or slightly as you want, and people will watch it. Third is comedy. Okay, people like laughs. And again, you put any kind of story, whether it be tight, loose, or whatever, if it makes you laugh, people will watch it. And the fourth is drama. And generally, drama is the ones that do well are usually based off of a true story or inspired by a true story. If they're not that, then they don't usually do that well. But again, this is we're talking worldwide. And in this situation, again, it's about the characters and the drama. Can people relate to the drama? Will people watch it? Yeah. And so and followed by, can you lay out an effective means of developing it, producing it for cheap, and laying out an excellent distribution plan so that it'll be profitable for the people who invest into it, and understanding how that system works, and having that system laid out and executing on that. Because again, you're right. It's a consumer that makes or breaks you. That's why it's important to understand what is it the consumer wants. I mean, I'm just talking in the perspective of movies, that are usually released for film and later put on television. Now, but if you want to go further into the other types of media and other channels of distribution that people make, specifically for, whether that be television, internet, radio, books, okay, because entertainment is not the only means of communication that people look to. Just look at Harry Potter. Right? A book. Started off as a book, and now it has become a movie because it became so popular. Ultimately, it's not the magic that the people were into. It's not the whole. I mean, all the other stuff. What they were really into was the character himself. You have this boy who's struggling to, make something of himself, and that's his story. So as a result, the kids would read it, they would enjoy it. It became so popular, but it's not the story itself that was so popular. It's just how the method in which they laid it out. Who was it that these children? Where is it that they gathered? Okay, what is it that they bought? How much money did they spend? And what kind of things attracted them? What was already in the market, and how can we be different from that in appearance, and yet at the same time be able to encourage them to read? Okay, not only Harry Potter, you've got the series like Ink Heart, Ink Death, Ink Spell. Okay, again, these are best-selling kids novels. You've got stories like the Twilight series, among girls. These are books among children. Now the thing is, the children like these books, Narnia books, classic books, but still, I mean,
Being made into movies.
yeah, they're being made into movies. The thing is, the whole idea of movies and what influences movies in of itself is not just the movie. Just movies. It's other forms of communication that people look to. Books is just one. We've got we've got the news. News is a major inspirer. We've got just and going back to the basic stuff of what's really popular in the world. So understanding that, you're right. Consumer makes or breaks. Don't make something and expect people to buy it. Understand what people want to buy and then make that, and then embed the very ideas that you want the people to be able to have a relation to, and not seen as foreign as you would think. That's my understanding of how it is, and that's how I think the things would change. And I'm making an effort towards that right now. I'm here in LA attending a seminar on the very fastest of distribution, what it takes to deliver and things like that. And inshallah, I'll be back here in LA again in October on understanding what are the investment principles and the business principles that go into getting those deliverables and whatnot. Also in New York next month, no, in June actually, I'm attending another seminar on what are the different types of checks that people have to write in a production. What are the different types of budgets that people use? Now I'm taking these steps so that I can move forward in that. My goal, like I have two sets of goals. One goal is I want to be an influencer in the mainstream systems that are out there. And at the same time, I want to be the executive producer of all content that's produced within an Islamic framework in the West.
Inshallah. Now, having said that, alhamdulillah, you laid down a lot from how to get there, how to be there, and what it would take to maintain that position of becoming, inshallah, not only profitable in terms of making money, but allowing your impact of movies or videos or whatever the case, or even books, to have a positive effect on the image of Islam and Muslims. Because again, media is the best way to really get your point across these days, in my belief, because People watch movies. People watch videos. People go on the internet. People
They
even
read
read
books.
books. They read